A basic goal of the criminal justice system is to determine whether a person accused of committing a crime actually did so. I think the best way to do this is with the adversarial system, wherein those making the accusation present their evidence in open court before an impartial judge or jury. The person who is accused can then challenge that evidence and present his or her own evidence. I believe the adversarial system is desirable because it is the best way to determine truth. When each side has the opportunity to present evidence supporting its position or challenging the other side's position, we are more likely to find out what really happened. Cross-examination is especially useful since it allows each side to test the credibility of witnesses. In this way, truth arises from a free and open competition over who has the correct facts. Secondly, the adversarial system requires both sides to abide by specific procedures and follow explicit rules of evidence. That helps ensure that the defendant is treated in a fair and unbiased manner, and that misconduct by government officials is held in check. Justice is best achieved with strict adherence to procedure. In addition, as it is used in the United States, the adversarial system provides everyone with an opportunity to have their side heard. You can hire your own attorney, or if that is not financially possible, you will have one appointed for you. In this way, regardless of the defendant's socioeconomic status, they always get a lawyer fighting to have their side of the story heard in open court. Then, either a judge or the jurors can make an informed decision about the case. Finally, the alternative to an adversarial system would, by definition, mean that power would reside in a single position, most likely the judge. Admittedly, that might work in countries where judges are trained professionals for that specific role, but the quality of judges in the United States is quite mixed. Depending on the jurisdiction, judges may be on the bench as the result of merit selection or political appointment. I'd rather have lawyers representing the interests of each side than letting the judge control such things as who to call as witnesses and what questions to ask them.
The adversarial system is neither the only nor the best way to determine whether someone committed a crime. Instead, I favor a procedure called the inquisitorial system, wherein everyone works together to figure out what happened. As UCLA law professor Michael Asamoah has noted, since the adversarial system is so deeply rooted in the United States and so compatible with its competitive culture, it's not surprising that lawyers and ordinary people are uninterested in alternatives. However, Asamoah also points out that numerous American judges and academics have urged adoption of changes that would move the justice system in an inquisitorial direction. I agree with those judges and academics that favor a more inquisitorial system for American justice, since I believe this system is better than the adversarial system at determining truth. When there are no sides, everyone will be working together to find the truth. In the inquisitorial system, the police, prosecution, defense, and even a representative from the judiciary work from the investigation stage forward to figure out what happened. Since neither investigation nor trial are seen as combat between two sides, everyone has access to the same information, and the truth as to what happened can easily be seen by all. In this way, careful investigation will determine guilt better than does the oratory skills of lawyers. Secondly, although clear and consistent procedures must be established and followed, the adversarial system takes that to an extreme. A result of all that attention to procedure ends up making it more important how a person is processed than whether he or she actually committed the crime. The adversarial emphasis on procedure is already becoming problematic as science becomes increasingly useful in determining a person's guilt. When clear, incriminating forensic evidence is not allowed to be used at trial because of the way it was gathered, the only winner is the guilty criminal. The inquisitorial system ignores minor procedural errors in order to secure justice. If the gun presented in evidence is the one used in the assault, it would be silly not to have it considered. Justice is given priority over procedure. In addition, the adversarial system gives lawyers too much of a prominent role. In a Gallup poll, 47% of Americans rated judges as either very high or high in terms of honesty and ethics. Lawyers, however, were given the same rating by only 17%. It makes no sense for Americans to support a justice system that relies so heavily on a profession that's viewed so poorly in terms of honesty and ethics. Admittedly, even judges received very high or high ratings by fewer than half of those polled, but I'd still rather place my trust in a profession that 47% of Americans view as being honest and ethical than in a profession in which the vast majority of people have a less positive perception. Finally, I think one of the reasons Americans like the adversarial system is more a result of our enjoyment of contests than our belief that the system is fair or just. This justice as sport phenomenon, it's fun to watch or read about, and it's much more entertaining than would be a system without actively involved lawyers. But justice shouldn't be a sporting event, and the best way to assure that it isn't would be to move more toward an inquisitorial system.